15 ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, where we bring Hollywood home on a budget. Unlike my other half, David Romero, who usually attends a party every Saturday night or so, I'm not a party animal. I guess it's the old soul within me. However, it's been brought to my attention that some of you, maybe even many of you, just aren't enjoying yourselves fully, either at somebody else's party or at a soiree of your own creation. Well, all that's about to change, because this week, I'm introducing you to Party Life! Or something like it, helping you give an honest effort to enjoy yourself in any party-like scenario. All I ask is that you give a little bit of your time and energy, and in no time flat, you too will be styling and profiling. No lying. Okay, maybe with a little bit of lying. However, the first piece of God's honest truth that I gotta share with you when it comes to parties is this. Absolutely no party, big or small, is complete without food. You know it, I know it. Every party-goer out there knows it's fundamental. If your spread is just one plate short of a full-on buffet of brilliance, you're toast. So what do? In this case, do what I do and call upon the culinary cavalry at America's Test Kitchen. They know what to do. And here they rounded up over 300 sharable, tapas, meze, bar snacks, dumplings, and more, all comprising the complete Small Plates Cookbook. Another big-ticket ATK cookbook for me, and purchasing this for $7.99 from Red Violet Blue Thrift Store is quite a crowning achievement, especially considering its retail prices. $34.99 in the US, $40 in Canada. Here's a telltale indication to find out if a cookbook's already been purchased and used, and that is this, that somebody wrote down their favorite recipes in a couple of scrap pieces of notebook paper, which I have here on the floor, and I'll share them with you now. This would be a good reference guide to work with. However, another more helpful, more definitive resource guide awaits in the very beginning of the book, and that is the menu ideas section. However, I will say this, just in case. This is the menu ideas section. Sample menus to work with, either to a T or to adapt to your own taste. It all depends on how many people will be attending your party and picking a certain party theme that you want to vibe with throughout. It could be something as simple as an easy get-together or a weeknight dinner, weekend brunch, meatless Monday, or something a little more complex and inventive to really stretch your stuff, such as a grilled surf and tough for 8 to 10, or California dreaming in the backyard for 6. Either of these would be primo for the summertime, especially California dreaming in the backyard, because in most parts of California, especially SoCal, they're almost always serving summertime vibes. And hey, there would be no shame in your game if you're not in a partying mood, especially when it comes to large crowds, and you just want to boogie down to some extent with the love of your life or the love of your life elect, or your roommate. In that case, dinner on the couch, nibbles for two, would be right up your alley. And for you lovers out there, this would especially come in handy if the LOYL or LOYOE complains that there's something small about you that needs to be addressed. In that case, you might want to ask, how's this for something small? However, the menu that I'm selecting for today's video is everything fried, dinner in the kitchen for 6. We have here fried pickles, frito misto di mare, cacioffi alla guida or guida, patatas bravas, apple fennel remoulade, and homemade lemonade, page 91, with berries. 6 recipes for a fried menu for 6. For some reason, as with many of you, I think that eating anything fried, especially outdoors, reminds me of being at the state fair. Even though I've only been to the state fair, and county fair for that matter, one time each, so I've only been to a fair twice. However, the recipes in this particular section are definitely far from the usual state fair fare. As a whole, all of the recipes in here are divided into these chapters. bar snacks and finger foods, pickles, dips, and spreads, cheese and eggs, salads for sharing, dressed up veggies, proteins, breads, dumplings, savory pastries, and sweets and sips. So in the words of the great scientist Beekman, you chop 'em, I'll chop 'em, let's a mise en place. Flourish. We begin with fried pickles, definitely a staple at any state fair in the summer. 80K's variation will take you 30 minutes to do, serving 6 to 8 and making 16 pickles. Next up, homemade lemonade. This will make 1 cup, serving 6 to 8, and take you 10 minutes to do all in all, plus 8 hours of draining. By the way, head start, finish line, and perfect pair, we'll break them down for you as follows. Head start. Certain make-ahead recipes give you directions for prepping these things ahead of time. Finish line, that just details gotta say in a nutshell for you. After all, presentation is key, especially when it comes to party foods. And perfect pairings. You can look around these indicated pages here to find recipes that would certainly be a good fit with these dishes. Next up, an apple fennel remoulade. Because with anything fried, you should have something a little bit cold and crisp and bracing and refreshing to counteract all the negative action going on. Hey, you can't have fried food every day, but in the summertime, why the heck not? This serves 6, it takes you 15 minutes to do. Here we have patatas bravas, a staple of Spain. This will serve 6 to 8 and take you 1¼ hours to do. This is caciafi a la guida, which serves 4 to 8 and it'll take you 2 hours total to whip up. And by the way, that's just fried artichokes. This is frito misto di mare, that's fried seafood. And in this case, it's a medley of fried shrimp and squid and skinless sole or flounder fillets. And that'll take you 55 minutes to do, just 5 minutes short of an hour. I want to fortify this with a couple of my favorite recipes outside of the menu. And they would be the following. French bread pizzas. No party's complete without pizzas. And French bread pizzas, well, they're definitely standard party fare in most places, I assume. And for dessert, because no buffet is complete without dessert, how about chocolate cream pies in a jar? This makes 12 individual pies, and it'll take you half an hour to perfect, plus an hour's worth of chillaxing, as they say in the business. Save for the garnishes and condiments in the beginning of the book. All of the main recipes in here give you what I like to call their insurance claims should anything go on. Why this recipe works, summarizing the tasting and testing process for all of the main dishes in here, and finding out how certain flavors and textures mingle with each other, almost in the same fashion that you'll be mingling with your partygoers once they taste the results of your hard work. The beginning of the book, aside from the condiments and the garnishes, crunchy, sweet, and savory and creamy alike, outline how you should organize all of these party foods depending on what type of party you're having. It could be a grazing board, it could be a tapas party, or something a little more substantial, something a little more meaty. Plus, all the recipes are divided into 3 categories of bites. Nibbles, small bites, larger bites, medium bites, and finally, anchor bites, aka heartier bites. The heartier bites serve as the anchor for the small bites and the medium bites, in the same way that you would serve an average meal to an average family of 4 and have a main dish and a couple of side dishes. The beginning of the book also outlines how taste, texture, color, presentation, the works can make or break not just the individual recipes in here, but how you assemble all of them on a buffet spread, whether it be big or medium-sized or small. To my knowledge, there are no specific ingredient recommendations in terms of brands or equipment recommendations, but it's clearly obvious that putting together a Tapas-style party or just any small plates party of any kind is definitely more different than putting together an average-sized meal for an average family of 4. All of this as we explore the big world of small plates. Whether you're entertaining or just making a weeknight dinner, this is a cookbook that's gonna be the party animal for your next gathering. And I will award it 5 out of 5 claps. In this case, it's one of those rare exceptions where you probably don't need any specific ingredient recommendations or equipment recommendations for that matter, although a few of them are outlined at the beginning of the book too, but not by brand. The America's Test Kitchen Complete Small Plates Cookbook. With so much to savor and so much to share, only one question remains. Would you topper this? Oh yeah, I would topper that. And in the meantime, here's what's on tap for Tuesday. While I'm sorry to say that this is definitely not for the Looney Tunes crowd, I can say with confidence that this will make any party guest of yours quite loony. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.